we'd say we're trying to understand communities at a deeper level and not just on the surface level. So the collective is trying to focus on bringing positive outreach and ideas to communities and research. But I don't know, but you look at that and they're creating all these new sort of weird indoor cities. It's just like, why are you building indoor cities? You've got the outside. I honestly don't get it. I don't understand it. Like, why don't you just improve what's already got? Like, don't build a greenhouse, essentially, to just put more plants into. It's mad.
Projects are always beautiful, but you need to also look at what happened when people start using them, actually leaving them, because
we were a bit frustrated about job opportunities and positioning ourselves in the field. So I had this interesting conversation with the director of the master. She said something really easy that was like, well, you're three of you, you're working really well together, you know what you want to do, and you have the same philosophy, same style, and so why you don't do something together?
To try and talk to maybe architecture practices and say, here are our services, this is what we do. We want to like help you design better. We nearly cried multiple times in questioning whether we can actually do this. And then we'd go through phases of being a bit crazy and be like, of course we can do this, we can do anything. And then the next day we'd be like, but can we do it though?
Welcome back to Hello Architecture. Today we've got a very special trio with us. One of them is actually a former uni mate from UEL days. Back when we were surviving crits, leaving the studio and pretending we absolutely understood everything that the tutors was going to say. Since then, Louise has packed up, moved to Barcelona, done her other masters, met two brilliant collaborators, and then together they formed NoDo Collective. So today we've got the founders themselves, Louise, Elisabetta, and Vittoria, all here with us. It's honestly such a pleasure to have you guys. And today isn't just about projects, it's about the other side of projects. Building a practice with your friends, working across cultures, starting from zero in a new city, and letting people see what really happens behind the scenes of architecture. Okay, so before we get into the serious stuff, I want to know something.
Okay.
When you have a disagreement, who thinks they're the leader, who is actually the leader, and who is just laughing behind?
Oh, that's putting us on the spot.
Okay, Elisabetta seems a bit quiet. Elisabetta, blink twice if it's Vittoria.
It's not. Actually, I think we're very much at the same level. And we don't have big disagreements. We just talk a lot. And we go around things, and that's how we start things out. So, yeah, it's just about, communicating. It's really easy when you're working with the right friends, you know? So,
Yeah.
Okay, and so let's
do that.
rewind a little bit. How did the three of you find each other?
Oh, and in Barcelona. We did the same course. We all came here to study the Masters of International Cooperation and Sustainable Emergency Architecture. And we just did a lot of group work during this 1 year of master's studies. And that's kind of it. We just sort of made friends in the first month and then never left each other's sides.
we sat next to each other actually the first day. That's how we
true,
met.
Yes.
We kept the same sitting arrangement for the whole year. Yeah, I think Vittoria was on my right and Luis on my left. Was that it? Yeah. And then we started working together on projects, and yeah, it just felt very right. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And so how everything started, like the NoDo Collective, if I pronounced it correctly. When did it start? the conversations when you should start something? When it kicked in?
Victoria, do you want to explain the story? It was mostly your initiative.
So about like a year, maybe less after the master, we were a bit frustrated about job opportunities and positioning ourselves in the field. So I had this interesting conversation with the director of the master, and she said something really easy that was like, well, you're three of you, you're working really well together and you know what you want to do and you have the same philosophy, same style, and so why you don't do something together? And she just like put the idea in our mind and it felt really right, and that's it. And then like I would spend months thinking about it and months, and
And
that's it.
months and months.
Months.
Yeah, I think we started doing stuff probably, when was it? Like April time? We started getting motions into players in thinking of the name, which we changed about 10 times. And I mean, you probably understand having done that with the podcast as well. Like, it needs to be just right. So we did that and then spent basically the whole summer just sort of branding and organizing ourselves. And Bess and Victoria did a great job of putting the website together. So then, yeah, finally went live to then start finding projects and stuff. But NoDo, it's an acronym. It's short for Network of Observation, Design and Outreach. To try and, well, we wanted it to be quirky and cool, so we've gone NoDo instead.
And nodo actually mean nod, basically. And it's both an Italian and a Spanish word, so it's something that, you know, we share. And the idea behind it is that, well, that's what we want to do. We want to connect different aspects because architecture for us is not just one thing. It's different things. It's engaging with people. It's storytelling, and we want to. The idea behind Nodo is that we want to make that connection happening. And so, yeah, that's why we like the name.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why our symbol and logo is the knot, just to kind of really bring everything together. I think we were all struggling or trying to, like, around this time last year, none of us really knew what was going to happen with jobs wise and stuff, because we started, as part of the course, we had to do an internship, and we were all lucky enough to have continued it, but we weren't sure if it was going to remain, basically. And the job market in the humanitarian sector is really quite difficult to find some stuff, especially with, I don't know, maybe minimal experiences. Well, not minimal, we have experience, but not as much as, you know, obviously other people. So this was also a reason that the director suggested it, is because if we club together and bring in the different knowledge and ideas that we have from what we gained from our internships and also from the course and our previous architectural knowledge, then maybe we could try and do something that's impactful and fulfilling for like ourselves, and also really try and do something that's going to be like helping people in a way. That was it.
And you said, you explained the NoDo part. What is the collective part? How did you decide on that?
Well, how did we decide on that?
Well, I think like it's just a form of working together that is different than like creating a startup or a company. We have other jobs, and the collective is just we are using that to express ourselves, to express our, as I said, like our philosophy of working in a different way, and like a collective is giving us the freedom of doing the jobs that we like and accepting the jobs that we like, or following projects that we like, instead of having a proper firm. And we're exploring different things, and it feels like a structure that has more freedom, as I said, instead of a I don't know, a firm or something with more structure.
Yeah.
So for now it is, but it can become like we were talking about this before the podcast. It can become something else, and it can evolve, and it can. For now, it's the three of us. Maybe it's gonna be bigger. Maybe it's gonna stay like this. And it just feels right now to have something that is giving us the possibility of doing what we like with
Yeah.
different methodologies as well.
It kind of, I think, as well, sounds quite a bit more relatable as well. If we're going out into the public sphere, trying to communicate with local communities and stuff, it also introduces or invites them in to be part of this collective. So it's not just three of us. It becomes a bigger realm of people, bigger realm of, ideas and knowledge
Yeah.
and etc. So
Yeah.
I think that was the purpose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's open, it's organic, it just evolves with us. So whatever we want to do with it, we can do it.
Yeah. And I guess that's the freedom of being a collective. You don't need to restrict any clients. You don't want to put any pressure on yourselves. You can be as free as you want.
Yeah.
Now I see like there's three entrepreneurs in front of me, but I want to reel back a bit. I want to go back to your uni or maybe school. I don't know. Were you guys always this creative? Were you into architecture? Were you into designing? Were you into, I don't know, painting? That's what I was doing. Yeah, one of you can just start off.
Who wants to start? Better? Victoria?
Well, me?
Louise, you go ahead.
Louise, go ahead.
Me, okay.
I'm gonna put you on spot.
Well, yeah. Well, I have always been quite creative, I suppose. Like I've always studied art. I've done graphic design through college as well. And I actually originally always wanted to kind of do graphic design or fine art at university, but I don't know how I got into architecture at all, to be honest. I think I did like some work experience when I was in year 10. So I was, I don't know, 14, 15 or something. And then I saw that maybe I could actually apply creativeness to like other ways. But for me, I can't lie, architecture I never really got it. Like I really struggled to understand it in my first year of architecture, in my bachelor's. Like I just, everything I was doing, it just wasn't working. I was either being like maybe too creative with it, but not really supporting anything else with like, I don't know, all the technical stuff. But it's bachelor's, you can only do whatever you want to do. But my first year, man, it was so hard. But like, yeah, what else was the question?
Or
Sorry,
I was just gonna say,
Should
were
just
you
keep going?
being someone? Yeah, I was just gonna ask, were you gonna be someone else? Because I wanted to be a pilot, for example, failed
Yeah.
successfully.
I've always considered being a police officer. No, sorry,
Wow.
not police officer, a detective, because that's cooler. Just
detective.
if all else fails, I'm like, maybe I'll go down that route. But no, I just for me, I realized quite early on that I didn't want to do like formal architecture, and I think I've realized that from doing my bachelor's because, as I say, I wasn't quite understanding it or quite getting it. But then I was like, I need to figure out a way to get this to be fulfilling, or like I need to find my interest to start to really get it drummed in. And everyone who I was surrounded with in Liverpool, they're all like doing sciences or like, I don't know, to go work for the NHS. One of my friends was learning about the bowels, and then I had friends doing psychology, and they all want to be doing like, I don't know, they want to be helping other people, doing research on like mental resilience, and like they're just doing things to help other people. And that's sort of actually, don't tell my friends I say this, they'll go straight to their heads. But there was kind of some influence for me to sort of change my direction a bit as well, because I was like, well, if I'm going to do this and I don't like working in the corporate sort of, glass box kind of idea of architecture, I need to figure out how I can do it that's going to be beneficial. So I think from then on, I'd always sort of looked at climate stuff, or like, climate or socially resilient, trying to always use people as sort of the influence to every design that I was trying to do. And I didn't necessarily work always, but it was always a concept. And I think when I went to UEL, I was very lucky in the fact that there was Ardmore and Rosa's studio group. which was very socially focused and looking at social impact. And then obviously with all the sustainability stuff and the environmental benefits that we had to sort of implement into the architecture, I think that was really, really, really nice way to sort of then slowly push into the humanitarian
Mm-hmm.
architectural point.
Mm-hmm.
So that was it for me, really. I just I did work in practice, and I realized then, I was like, this is just not what I want to do. I need to change it. I need to get into social or humanitarian architecture or vernacular or something. And then, yeah, from UEL onwards, sort of
Mm-hmm.
changing up from that.
In that particular
I'm not
situation,
sure
it's
if these
very
guys.
interesting, like how perhaps two tutors have somehow shaped your thinking in architecture. I was just wondering if you had a different completely tutors, if you were still going to Barcelona to pursue sustainability and all of that in architecture, or if you had a different kind of mindset in architecture industry, and you could be working in a company right now, or I don't know, in London, who knows. The number is very interesting. Elisabetta, do you want to tell your story?
Yeah, no, it's fun because I think the story behind it is always the same, that we didn't feel right with what we were doing with architecture. But okay, so I studied in Italy. The program I followed at university was basically a combined bachelor and master degree. So I stayed for 5 years, a little bit more than that, at the same university. So that was a very long process. And I started uni feeling very creative. I've always been creative my whole life. When I was a kid, I tried, I think, every possible craft that was out there. So I knew I liked that. And I feel like during university, all the projects that we did just kind of drained all the creativity that was on me, like in me, just outside. I was empty at the end of it. And like the more I studied architecture, the more I started realizing that it wasn't what I was expecting, meaning that I was asking myself certain questions, and architecture wasn't actually answering to those questions, you know? Um, I wanted to know about the people that were using the spaces. Like, why are we doing this? Who are we doing this for? Like, I was just like, whatever I had as an answer to that question was because it's good, it's beautiful. Like, I couldn't understand the criteria that were, traditional architecture. So I never felt in the right place. And then when after I graduated and I went into practice, that just got worse because I realized that, well, in practice, it is just like that. Like, yeah, you do certain things for the criteria that you're applying that weren't necessarily what I was looking for. So I knew that I needed a change. And so that's why at some point I just quit and I found the master. And I think I found the master and I enrolled in within like a couple months. I didn't even think about it that much because it just felt right. When I read the pitch from the master, I just knew that was good. That felt good for the first time. And I think it was just like right decisions from that moment on.
Yeah. Can I just say, like, from what you're saying about your time in practice as well, and I know, Vittoria, you had similar stuff, I really think that your first experience working in an architecture practice can really shape the way that you see it and the way that, you, you know, you can have a really good experience, you can have a really bad experience. And I feel like there are a lot of people persevere and they're just like, okay, I'll get better, because you do your part 2. Well, in the UK, of course, you do the part 2 and then you do your part 3 and then you're earning more money or whatever, I don't know. And then, and then all this kind of stuff. But I just I mean, at least, I don't want to speak for the other two, but I think we're in the same ideas, is that our experiences were not good. And I'm not bad, but could have been better. That's what I mean to say. Could have been better. to have maybe felt maybe supported, or to sort of, I don't know, progress or whatever. But it's, anyway, that's a different, I was going to go on to a different point, but that's, yeah. So
Yeah, but
anyway,
like
maybe
you're right. Like the experience I had, so I was working for 3 very good architects. The firm was very small. We all worked very much together, but it wasn't my thing. Like every minute I spent on that desk working on that computer, I knew that couldn't be like what the rest of my life would have looked like, because that wasn't me. I mean, it was working really well for them, and I'm very good for them, but that wasn't me. I couldn't keep doing that, and I knew that.
yeah. I just sort of saw how stressed everyone was all the time, and they just are coming in and they're like, oh, another day, and I was like, really? Is this it? Is this all? Is this what life is now? I'm just gonna be coming and crying at my computer every day. Oh man.
And Victoria, what were you like when you were growing up?
Well, I think as they said, like we're sharing similar experience. That's probably why we're fitting good together in this collective, because like we have a same shared past experience, and always been creative. I thought like architecture would have been like amazing, drawing, imagining, expressing myself, my creativity. I did my bachelor in a really, really important old university in Italy, in the north of Italy. That means like it was full of rules, and I'm not good following rules. And so it just like I felt I was not expressing myself, and I tried so hard. And for example, I was bringing at the final exam like black tables with the plan in pink, crazy stuff, and they were just being rejected because it was not following the academic rules. And I just feel so engaged, and and I was just not expressing myself. And then like I was following a course that was about lightning, and it was just like the teacher was saying how light and other things like these are shaping people's life. And I just got so I was like, wow, that's incredible. Like you can shape like how people are feeling inside a space. And so architecture is more than just building stuff. And so I got really into that. And I did a master in interior design, in interior architecture, thinking of, I don't know, building or improving jails and hospitals and community spaces where people could have feel better and improve lives and etc. And I ended up working in an interior residential design firm. So as we said, like the first experience really shaping what you're seeing in the world, but like the reality is that what we hope for ourselves in university is not always what we get in jobs, because like the reality is that like the world is money, and well, it's not dreams, no? So and it's fine, and like I know like a lot of my colleagues still there in the architecture firm, they love that.
Mhm.
And that it's good for them and it's great and they love that, and I was just not feeling fulfilled. And I was, at the end of the day, I was not feeling even that I was not good for the environment, because I was not giving like 100% of myself. So well, I decided to do the master to change my career path, and that's great. And that's it. It's just like adjusting, I think, your path of the future.
Yeah.
And we're still doing a bit of architecture, of course. It's just a different path we took, and that's great, because like architecture 30 years ago, at least in Italy, was really strict, and like mainly men were architects, and like it was just one type of architecture, and it was buildings and like um now you can express yourself in so many ways. So I think that's great, and we are so lucky that we had the opportunity to do that and to choose our career. Still doing architecture because like we choose that for a reason and we love that.
Mm-hmm.
We just adjust a bit like with our
Focus, yeah.
It's very interesting, like the combination between you three, although you are completely different lives, different countries, perhaps not as Alberta and Victoria, but it's just like you guys have the same thinking related to architecture, where this is not what I want to pursue in the more traditional way. And so you three follow these masters in Spain. And so when you guys, as you mentioned before, have this idea to start something that perhaps was missing, but nothing related to architecture, buildings, planning, etc., but more user, community, culture based. So when you start your NoDo Collective practice, if I can call that, how did you, when you started, what was the feeling of it, and how did it start really in terms of officially when you create the website, or when you were putting a brainstorm into place of what NoDo Collective is going to be, what's going to be the impact, and what change do you guys want to actually create with it?
We had a variety of mixed emotions. Can't lie. I think we nearly cried multiple times in questioning whether we can actually do this. And then we'd go through phases of being a bit crazy and be like, of course we can do this. We can do anything. And then the next day we'd be like, but can we do it though? Because, well, I think as we said, we've sort of gone straight into doing this from the masters. We haven't really managed to get any real life experience as of yet. Yeah, so, but I think majority, most of all, it's been excitement, because we were like, well, what can, because the future, I mean, anything could happen, like it could really take off, and then we could actually be doing the projects that we really want to be doing and really helping people, or not necessarily helping people, but actually designing and researching with communities and trying to put things into place that are really going to benefit society and or like local people local communities in positive ways. I think the main fear for us is the struggle to be successful in finding work. No, in the how to word that correctly. In that I don't know how to word that. It's a big competition. I think that's the thing. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a huge competition, especially now, with a lot of funding cuts and things in the humanitarian world. And so we were doing all of this whilst all of these cuts were happening. And we understood that whilst the market was reducing significantly, it was also increasing, but also like the people who have years of experience have all lost their jobs, and they are now also looking for jobs too. So it's not necessarily a fear. It's just that we understand that it could be a little bit more challenging than we had originally anticipated, because obviously with all the politics that's going on in the world at the moment, it's just proving to be a little bit, a bit more difficult than we, I don't know, necessarily hoped. Yeah. What do you guys say? Yeah.
Yeah. And well, the problem also is that there's no protocol for what we're doing. So we're basically learning as we go. And I think one of the most difficult thing we had to do at the very beginning was deciding our area of focus. That took us actually a very long time, because at the beginning you want to do everything, and that's
Yeah.
fine, but then you have to actually look for jobs. And so at that point you really need to start understanding what you can or cannot do, especially because, as Louise said, competition is very high at the moment, and you compete with people that have way more experience than you. And so you have to be strategic on what you can or cannot do with a collective as with the experience that we have. We have like strengths and weaknesses as everybody else, but it's just
Yeah.
about finding the right path, I think.
Yeah. But then on the other hand, we get, so Victoria and I went to sort of, Women in Shelter networking event here in Barcelona. And on the other hand, you have all these women who have many years of experience telling us that actually we've got the advantage because we are in a position to be able to go and do anything as soon as, or whatever, and they're not. I mean, it's funny, isn't it? It's just funny hearing it from both sides because we're sitting here like, oh, we're so young, or like, we don't have the experience, we can't do this, we can't do that. And then you speak to older people and they're like, stop. You've got everything laid out for you, you know? Which is interesting actually, to be fair. We shouldn't really be scared too much. But yeah, I think that was the main things, right? What you guys said? Yeah.
Yeah. And since you said that, the scariest bit was, I guess, the clients, the legitimacy, how people would think about NoDo Collective.
Yeah.
Where is the money coming from? I don't know.
Yeah.
How are we going to sustain this? How is the reputation looking like? What were the first thoughts on how to tackle that, practically? Okay, we're going to do this, and solve these problems.
Well, I think we have architecture background and not a business background, so maybe we're a bit naive on all these aspects, and that it's good. That is good because like then we are stressing, but not too much, and we are not really see the problems maybe. But that is amazing. But
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
If we don't see the problem, then there's no problems.
there is no
Exactly.
problem.
Exactly.
And also like three of us that are putting our time and our resources for now, and we are setting, since it's freedom, we're setting our limits on projects, and we know that at some point like someone of us is working a bit more on something and the other a bit less, or the opposite. So we're putting that's the main resource that we have right now. It's our time. And well, probably you guys know about this, and everyone that is starting something from scratch by themselves, like you just have to put a lot of time and effort and consistency at the beginning, and that's what we have right now, like that. And then like hopefully at some point we can consider this like a more stable revenue, more stable job, etc. But
Yeah, definitely. Agreed.
And what would you say that no one warned you about starting a business with your friends?
We were thinking about it before, and we kind of knew. So before we started NoDo, we talked to some of the professors we had at the master to get more information about what it looks like to have a collective, especially because
Yeah.
some of them also have a collective. So we knew that it's something that is getting more common, especially in the emergency or development field. So they have really good experience, and they actually warned us about all the main challenges we actually ended up having. So yeah, the risk of being too broad. What else was there?
well, of course, like the first problem that you can think it's money problem, that it's but it's just like we didn't create the company for making money. So it's just I don't want to say a collateral thing if we can actually make money out of this, but it's just a second step. It's not something that we create this company for. So we knew that since the
Well, I
beginning,
think
because like us.
Sorry, I was going to say, but I believe a fund or an income, it has to come some way for you to actually have an impact or pursue what you guys fighting for. And
we're working
Yes.
for that.
at some point, like we also have other jobs. So this is the very beginning of NoDo, and we know that it wouldn't be realistic to think that NoDo could be our main source of income. And we're
Right
not
now.
pushing for that because it's not right at this point. We're just going with it. So hopefully, yes, one day NoDo will be our main thing. For now, we'll see how it goes, basically.
And like, well, maybe again naive, but like general, like average company, and we're not even a company, like to just be sustainable in the market is something like 3 years, they're saying. So it's just we're taking small step, and we are not rushing this. Also because, like, again, we're trying to take like stick with our philosophy and do jobs that we think like are good for us, for our belief and our philosophy, and that's the main thing for now. And maybe it's gonna
Yeah.
change, but for now it's like
Okay.
this.
Yeah.
And so if we were taking back or looking at your studio, let's say, how you guys divide roles and how does it look like day to day of you guys working towards this mission?
What do you mean by that? Could you like day to day to achieve the mission, as in like
not
to
necessarily.
have it take out off, or
No, you can just really let's have a look at this point. So right now, how you guys so you have the NoDo Collective, you have this startup, how you guys divide the roles or work between you, and then what does it look like day to day? So what you guys work at the moment towards your mission with NoDo Collective. Does that make sense?
yeah,
I think it goes like a little with periods. We had like some
yeah,
period where we were like all of us had more time uh at the end of the year and like during the summer, of course. So we put like a lot of effort in this, and then we passed some months where we had like other works and other things to do and thinking of. So we're trying to stick with like a meeting per week. That sometimes is working, sometimes it's not working,
yeah,
and well, also since like we're friends, we're talking with each other. So sometimes like even like it's not like a formal meeting that we're doing, but it's still something. And we have a group chat where keep updating each other with things we're funding, maybe interesting stuff we're funding
yeah,
around. So it's like we don't have a real structure, but it's just because like we're friends and we are doing this together. So it's more organic the way we're doing, and we're working on some things on some projects right now. So um, that as well. It's just it's based on like the time we have like every week, and it's changing. And it's not a job right now, so we're not asking like to each other like fixing hours. That would be like just
yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we don't have to,
I,
we don't need to define roles because that comes naturally, I think, because we have different interests. So, well, for example, Victoria and Luis, they're really good at looking for grants or projects, and I'm definitely not good at that, but I do other things, you know? So, yeah, we have our balance, I would say.
yeah. I think the casualness sort of helps actually. I think it's kind of nice to have it more organically, as Vittoria said, because it means that we can just get on with it. There's no stresses and there's no like dramas. It's just like we discuss, we say, okay, look, we want to try and do this by the end of next week. And then everyone will kind of work in it as and when we can. We do sometimes separate the work up, obviously. When we were doing in the summer, we tried to apply for quite a lot of were they consultancy work? It was was it call for proposals and things, but that meant basically kind of putting together a portfolio. So in that case, and we did a lot. because we had to all collate our own information, etc. So that was that. But the project that we're working on at the moment, I can't say that I have been deeply involved in it because it's in Italy and it's all in Italian. So in that case, then that's how it gets kind of separated up in other ways. It's like who can be more resourceful, basically. And in this case, the Italians are more resourceful in Italian
That's
than
also
the
what
English girl.
we're exploring that as well, because like we're trying now with this project, and it's in Italy, and it was a huge opportunity for us. And well, we figured out that having a project in Italy in Italian is really stressful for the group, because of course we need to translate everything. So like, you know, it's adjusting. Like next time we
Or I
know
can
that
learn Italian.
it's either Luis
Sorry.
Italian, no,
Exactly.
it's just easier. No, I'm kidding. But it's just adjusting.
An advantage.
It's just trying and adjusting.
I was hoping that my now Spanish skills was going to help with the Italian to a certain extent, but no.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. I was hoping that to happen actually. Learning Spanish might be a bit connected to Italian, I guess.
Well, I can understand a small amount, just a very small amount, and these guys are speaking just because there's a few words, obviously, that's the same. But
It's just a matter of time you're going to learn Italian now.
and I'm going to absorb it.
Since we're talking about cities, and I haven't been to Barcelona yet.
Well, yeah.
I have friends from Barcelona, and they say, yeah, that's the place to be. Everything is happening. It's booming. It's the best place, apparently. How is Barcelona? How has Barcelona affected you as people, as as someone who wants to make some changes in the world? How is Barcelona affected you personally? Elizabeth, go.
Well, actually, I am the only one that is not living in Barcelona anymore, because I moved back to Italy a while after the master. Not because I actually wanted to, but because the situation required it. So I'm in Italy for now. But Barcelona, it really makes you believe that you have the freedom to do whatever you want with architecture. Just this is just an example, but having so much space in the street that is just for pedestrian and not for cars. I was living in a Champlain, for example, that is a whole pedestrian area. You don't have cars, and it's so beautiful to just walk around and don't worry about cars, and just, you can wander and you feel safe. And they managed to implement that. So that makes you understand how much they care about the city and the people.
I'm pretty sure Barcelona is one of the, I want to say pilot projects or something with the United Nations, right? Of like trying to make it more, I want to say socially or urban, have a stronger social focus in the urban context sort of thing. So, right, am I correct in saying that? Because we had the UN, was it UN Habitat or whoever come to the university and talk to us about this stuff? As a headquarters here as well. But yeah, no, it's one of the pilot projects. So like everything that they're sort of changing and doing, it's like they're doing it to try and better the livelihoods of people. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's quite cool though. It's quite cool to watch it all change. All these green spaces keep popping up and whatever. But
And
yeah.
moving cities is not obviously easy. I've done that multiple times in my life. But one thing I've noticed when moving cities is that you have to listen to a new place, because you come to a new city and then you don't know anything. I mean, it must not have been so different for you guys from Italy to Spain. But I think even if you get to another next town, you have to stop and listen to the city, because you have to understand what's going on there in order to absorb what they can offer. How much did that affect you? Like, did you have to really try to learn the city, or was it like, yeah, I belong to Barcelona, I'm not?
No.
I think it's really difficult to say I belong to Barcelona because
Yeah.
it's an easy city to live, but you can easily be detached by the reality.
Yeah.
By reality, meaning like it's easy to stay a tourist forever here. There
Uh-huh.
are so many international expats. Like you can easily, and I wrongly did that for the year of the master. I spoke in English for a whole year, and now I'm trying to like lose this awful habit. But it's just so easy. It makes so easy like to forget that you are in Catalonia, that it's really like a region with a lot of history and etc. and a strong philosophy. And so I think it's a difficult city. If you really want to be part of the city, it's really difficult to uh, enter in that because it's so easy to be in your comfort zone and be an expat and be part of the gentrification and make it worse and not make it better, I guess.
Yeah. And like, because of the whole big political sort of contrast, it's political side of it too, with speaking Catalan and the Catalonians and Spain, etc. So as you're saying, it's as Vittoria said, it's so easy to forget all of that goes on as well, because you as well, even if you don't speak English, you're going around speaking in Spanish, but actually you're speaking majority of the time to Catalans who would like to be speaking Catalan too. So, and I think maybe we all did this, as you know, in the first year we sort of were very ignorant to it, if you like, if that's the right word to say. And it's like now, Victoria's looking at taking Catalan classes. I too have been trying to learn Catalan as well. It's only like 2 years of being here, nearly 3 years. They're actually kind of like, maybe we should try and be a bit more proactive in sort of, understanding a bit. Like, we understand the history, we understand the politics, and we understand that Catalonia lost a lot during the whole civil war here in Spain. And we understand they're trying to get it back. So it's like, maybe we should also try and help that. And, as a collective who's very supportive of the local communities, then we're trying to broaden our knowledge and horizons a bit more with that too, I guess.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
In the way where you guys obviously travel to different place to study, and you live in different place, and perhaps when you travel like on holiday, you go to a different place. And what I'm trying to say is it's multiple cultures in wherever you go. And I guess perhaps one of the reasons why you start the NoDo Collective is perhaps how critical you were by that culture particularly, or how they done with the culture, or how is, let's say, planned in that city. What I'm trying to say is, with all of this experience and the meaning and the reason of starting the NoDo Collective, did the cities made you more empathetic or more critical in that sense?
Empathetic, I'd say. At least for me. I don't know for you guys. I think mostly because of like from doing the course as well, we did a lot of stuff that was focused in the city, and we understood a little bit more about different communities and the neighborhoods and stuff here, and how some people are more discriminated against and how more people are not. So like there's an area here in Barcelona called Raval, and everyone tells you don't go there. It's very dangerous, not very nice. You need to be careful, etc. But I think so it's one of the places where supposedly there's a lot of county lines, where they have the drugs, like drug trafficking through that place. And I think because it's always had this reputation, it's therefore stuck. And people who come there now still, and they're saying, you don't want to go there. And all the people who live there are very misunderstood. And I think when studying, we sort of had to look at the city in a different perspective, from a different lens. It wasn't just going into the city. We also had to look at it from maybe the perspective of the person living in there, why they're there and why they're sort of living in these conditions. And as well, like, you know, like looking at the homelessness in Barcelona and looking at, I don't know, we did a workshop where we had to look at the city from a gendered perspective. So we were trying to understand how women felt, so not necessarily women, but both genders, but we were trying to understand how certain people were feeling in certain specific areas of the city. So I think, I mean, at least for me, that made me a bit more empathetic into like entering somewhere with a lot more different cultures. And I understand, obviously, with, you know, London's got a lot of different cultures as well, but I don't think I ever looked at London from the same way that I've been looking at Barcelona. And I think that's partly thanks to the course that we did, and having to look deeper.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it makes you enjoy the city a bit more doing that, because you can start to, you know, talk to new people and experience new things. And I think it's really, really quite cool.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the city where we started doing community engagement, basically. And
Yeah.
as we said, residents in Barcelona, they care very much for their city. And so when you go there and you talk to them, they're very opinionated about what is going on in their spaces.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yeah.
have strong opinions and they want to share that with you. And so I think that influenced also the way we do community engagement, probably, or the way we just approach the community.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really quite fulfilling when you're actually talking to these people and understanding things. And I mean, when we did this workshop with the from a gendered perspective, it was really quite insightful. And then, like, I mean, at least for me anyway, because I don't know, it's just, you hear the stories and sometimes you're like, no, it's not that bad. It can't be that bad. But when you're there, and we were there interviewing people and literally talking to people, and it was just a
Mm-hmm.
really nice sort of, I don't know, I want to say heartfelt, not heartfelt. Heartfelt is the wrong word, but it was just a comfort, maybe, to know that whatever we were asking them, they were interested, and they were, you know, they felt like they wanted to talk to. I don't know. I can't explain it very well, but
Yeah, yeah. Now,
it
I was
felt,
just gonna say most architects, when they look for solutions, they just look from a far broader perspective. But when you
yeah,
actually go to the local people, like the shop guy, the corner shop guy, or the teacher who's teaching the school, the local knowledge is always powerful. And if you actually want to make some changes in these kind of situations, that's where you start. And
yeah.
I got that you guys grasped that very quickly. And how did you use that in practice? Like, for example, in any of your projects, did you actually go to the smallest unit of society and inquired about, okay, what do you feel like? Or like instead of how architects just do it broader, did you go to the smallest piece and investigate it?
Yeah. Go.
Always, always. I feel like it's always the start of whatever we do. We always go and talk to people about it because they have the answers. They already know. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're looking for answers, that's who you should talk about
Yeah.
to.
So the projects that we're working on at the moment, it's not, can't say it's like a huge thing. It's not massive. It's not like, you know, life changing. But we're trying to start small, and like trying to, as in like trying to say, talk to people and understand people's stories, and then therefore trying to build on top of that. Originally, we wanted to try and do something in Barcelona, which we're still looking into at the moment, about looking, I think we were looking at homelessness. We were going to look at the homelessness and looking at the housing crisis here in Barcelona. I don't know, maybe if you've seen
Interesting.
some stuff on the news with the systems and the Airbnb, and there's been protests and they've changed a lot of
Oh
the laws
yeah.
and the
Oh yeah. Yeah.
legislations. But further, we were looking into homelessness in general, and we wanted to try and connect up with some organizations and then try and look at, or not necessarily homelessness. Sorry, no, it wasn't homelessness. It was immigration, right? We went down this whole path of like different things, and then we wanted to look at immigration as well, and having not that we're immigrants, we're expats here, but we've all sort of tackled the renting system here, the bureaucracy and the democracy of Spain and Barcelona. It's hard. It's very hard. So we were trying, but we wanted to look at it from somebody else's perspective, from coming in and trying to do all these things, but then people who suffered from like racial discrimination, not being able to rent places because of maybe the color of their skin or their age, or like if woman or if they're whatever. So this is something that we're looking into at the moment. But Bessa and Vittoria have been working with the Italian thing, trying
We
to
also
in a
work on
similar.
that.
Yeah.
I have also worked on it too, yes, but they've done most of the dialogue, being Italian, and so we sort of translated what our initial idea into a smaller scale thing, into a small, where they can probably explain a little bit more, a smaller scale, in this wherever you are. Better, where is it?
So it's my hometown, Latina, which is like close to Rome. And what we're doing at the moment isn't exactly an architecture product, but we are working on a comic. It's more like a graphic novel, basically.
Interesting. Looking forward to see that.
Yeah, the comic artist is drawing it right now, so we're very excited for that. But it started from the idea Luis was mentioning. We wanted to look at, immigration and integration into a new city, a new space that is not your specific one, where you came from.
Yeah.
And so we collaborated with an organization here in Latina, and we spoke to a group of different people coming from different places that all ended up in the same neighborhood in my city. And we were looking for stories about integration, but we actually got beautiful stories about belonging. And then they all kind of naturally merged together into this fictional story about how they all came together creating a community in a new place, and that new place is now their home. And it came very naturally because we just sat there and listened to them for hours. So it's just what we did. And they all had they had all the stories that we needed to write this comic. And I think it has been a great experience for us. And we had the chance to explore different communication methods that are not, the traditional ones. But we found out that means like comic, graphic novels, they're great because they're very visual, they're easy to get, easy to communicate, to translate. And so I think we will keep looking into that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And that was it.
Because for my next question, and feel free to be frustrated, because you're gonna have now both experience as a work in practice and not liking what you've been working on, and obviously the change of creating NoDo Collective. And so, what conversations does architecture should avoid? Well, let me rephrase this. What conversation does architecture avoid but shouldn't?
In practice?
Yeah, so let's say
People.
a firm of architects. What do they avoid, but they shouldn't really avoid whatever they're doing?
I think people
Yeah.
in 5 years of architecture university, I never ever had an exam or something, a class, a course about people, and architecture is people centered. And I'm really sorry because it seems like I'm doing a lot of critics about this, but it's not. It's just like I'm stepping back and I'm seeing like the bigger picture after years of studying, etc. I just feel that we are lacking, like there is a lack of talking with people, understanding what people needs and what the community needs. Even if you're doing a like a residential building, an interior design, a bank, or something else, is just like looking at people. It's not looking at rules. And maybe sometimes it's, and we saw that in our work so many times, like things are beautiful, and us as architects, we love beautiful things. And but well, then like they're not maybe useful like for the people that are gonna use them as we thought. And that's, I think, what we are missing a bit in the conversation. And I'm not saying that this is like the center of everything and I'm like not discovering anything new. It's just like shifting a bit and like putting what's important in the center. And what is important for us, it's the user. It's not ourself, it's not our ego, it's not like the beautiful materials, etc. It's just people that are going to use the stuff we're designing. And it's like we have so much power to make people life better. And like it's not only create new things, architecture is hundreds of things. And like behind this umbrella there is also building new buildings, but it's regenerating and I don't know, like redesign, etc. And yeah, so I think like just uh change lens and a bit the perspective. That it's, I think, something that is happening in the world is just we're shifting this perspective in a way. I guess I'm positive, and like especially in the north of Europe, I think this is something that we're seeing more and more. And in Barcelona also, it's a great city, and there are a lot of collective as us working on participatory design. That is something that is becoming huge.
Yeah.
Especially in Europe, we're seeing in US it's already something that it's consolidated there, and I hopefully it's going to become like more and more important in Europe as well.
Yeah.
I think one
Completely.
other thing that usually like traditional architecture doesn't always address is what happened to architecture products after they're finished and they're being used, because you know projects are always beautiful, but you need to also look at what happened when people start using them, actually leaving them, because that changes a lot. Like people changes spaces a lot because yeah, they mix basically spaces that live with their own identity. So the fact that we're not always looking back at projects and see how they're doing, this might affect also the future projects that we will design.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, definitely. I feel like architecture is just at the moment it's, well, probably always, but getting worse. It's maybe in Northern Europe. It's or like bigger, big countries. It's all about just building the tallest thing and like how, trying to get a prize for this or whatever, but not actually thinking of maybe necessarily the long-term impacts, as you say, better. And it's like, for example, I'm thinking of London, and you go around city of London, and it's just like a wind tunnel everywhere because you've got all of these skyscrapers, and it's
Mm-hmm.
hideous, it's horrendous. And it's just like, it's not, I don't know, I feel like, why you keep building more glass towers and not actually understanding that this wind here is not it's not normal. Like, it's just, and I know that's a complete step away from the whole kind of social side of things, but I'm pretty sure, like here at least in Barcelona, you have the new stuff going up, but it's all sort of regulated a bit. At least from my understanding or from my experience here as well. I mean, Victoria, better maybe you agree or don't agree. But like, I just feel like here, as Victoria said, they're looking a lot further into the urban sphere of things, and actually, they're creating bigger spaces, so you're not getting affected by all these like secondary effects of the bigger buildings and stuff.
Mhm.
And I think maybe in that case, then you should put some bit more regulation on that, and like, you know, not be able to just keep building, because like, what's it? What are you gaining from that apart from money? That's the thing. It's money and investment, I think, in the end of the day. And I understand that, you know, but equally, I think you should just take a look at history or like what we've already learned and that kind of stuff, and keep going from there. You know, be a bit more sustainable. I don't know, architecture practice, they're always claiming they're sustainable. They're claiming that they're designing for the people. They're claiming that they're doing all this stuff. But then you look at their projects and I'm like, but they're in Dubai or they're in Saudi Arabia or like, you know, Abu Dhabi and or something. And I'm like, but what have you built? You know, like maybe it's sustainable, yes, but like you've built this huge thing in the middle of the desert. But like, who's it for? What's it for? I don't know.
No, you feel
I think,
you feel
yeah.
free to feel frustrated. This is a place for that.
We were
Like
looking at, I remember we looked,
sometimes.
what's that? Sorry.
Go ahead. Go.
No, I was going to say, we were looking at that building. Was it called The Line? The new one that's
No.
been built in the desert. Have you seen it? Like,
Yeah,
have you
of
seen,
course.
like, it's crazy. And Victoria, don't you have a friend who was working on that? Or like or you knew someone? No?
Don't
Is
put
it you?
Victoria on the spot.
Is it you? But
And
I don't know. But you look at that and they're creating all these new sort of weird indoor cities. Because I'm pretty sure I saw planning permission for another one the other day. I can't remember where it was though. Was it in Dubai? Can't remember. But it's just like, why are you building indoor cities? You've got the outside. I honestly don't get it. I honestly don't understand it. Like, why don't you just improve what's already got? Like, don't build a greenhouse, essentially, to just put more plants into. It's just, it's mad.
It's actually one question I've got while you guys were talking about these issues. You probably already thought that before, and you probably had something in mind to do it. But with NoDo Collective, obviously you are tackling issues with society, culture, etc. But what about kind of reteaching the architects to be more focused on the user itself? Obviously, the different practices will have different ways of doing it, and then some practices perhaps don't put too much of these into question. So I wonder if you guys could have a way of giving workshop to practice where the main focus is the people, the user, and probably they will say, "Oh yeah, we think about them, etc." But if you go really that deep to what is important into the society, the culture, blah blah, to remind them what the projects are for in reality. So is it something like you guys had thought before? Is something like you plan to do?
We have actually discussed something like that before in terms of trying to, if I'm remembering correctly, when we first started, to try and talk to maybe architecture practices and say, here are our services, this is what we do. We want to like help you design better.
Did you just go say
We're
that on the
very
face?
humbled.
Hey, by the way.
Yeah, by the way, you can cut that bit.
It's fine.
But
Oh, you're right at
is
the
that
beginning
like
of the video.
Yeah, you mean
God. Sorry, Victoria.
No, I think it's not. Yeah, it's maybe what you said. It's a bit strong, but it's just like having a different perspective, and like
Yeah.
of course, if you have like years of practice of doing something and you think like it's good and like for like what they taught you, etc., it's good, and like also we are not putting us on a pedestal saying like what we're doing is the best. Like we're still gonna learn so much in our life and in our career, and they're like a practitioner that are way more capable than us. Definitely we can we can give a different vision to that, and we thought about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, we have to find our niche for doing that, because of course like it's also like it means like the architecture or whatever needs to have some resources for doing that.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest shift that we experienced and I feel we can advocate for is that we should be looking more at process over finished product. Because once you start doing that, you will obviously include users and communities into your thinking if you start looking more at the process than at the final result. So, and like it can get uncomfortable because sometimes you can go through a process and the final answer is not building anything. That is a possibility. And you have
Mm-hmm.
to be ready to accept that, I think.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. These kind of impacts. Yeah. The client might not like it, but reality is, sorry, that's the better solution. Exactly. I don't know. How long have you been doing this together for? A year? Just more than a year?
Just about.
Less
Less
Yeah, less than that.
less than a year.
Less than a year. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna ask you, looking down, say 20, 30, 32, 5, 6 years down the line, how do you see NoDo Collective really impacting practices, how people think about architecture? What kind of new, refreshed perspectives do you want to give to the society?
I
That's so
think that's
hard.
a lot. Like again, I think we're not positioning ourselves to change things. We're just trying
Mm-hmm.
to, because
Interesting.
also I think if you're doing that, if you're putting yourself in a position of like I'm the best, like my idea is what is matter. Like I think in our like participatory humanitarian context, things are gonna change, are gonna improve in the next 6 years, and what we're doing now probably is not even gonna be the same, and it's gonna be better at some point. Does it make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So I think like having the freedom of keep like evolving, doing that, keep like improving ourselves and our work, and definitely having like the freedom that we have now, but like with a bigger scale of projects, and like projects that are giving us like revenue. But that's also a thing for us. Like we're not gonna be so naive.
Mm-hmm. And like probably being part of a bigger network, that would be the best way to actually have an impact as NoDo. Because let's face it, we are a very small reality, but that's good. That's what what we are, and that's what we need. We need more of these small realities spread everywhere around the world, and the only way to make a change is working together. So I guess that will be a beautiful goal to have.
Interesting.
Okay,
Yeah.
so in a sense, you guys intentionally won't keep the practice small or impact small, but in a way, if you could partner with a big organization, somehow you are creating a big of success that you intend to have. Is that correct?
Yeah.
But looking at this success, what actually
Basically.
feels like for you? So taking NoDo Collective with you guys, what is success?
I think just making a difference and feeling like we're helping, like making a difference. No, like actually, I don't know. As it's been mentioned a few times, we're not doing it because we want to earn loads of money. We're not doing it because money is the goal. We're doing it because we have a passion for people and we have a interest in positive social development. And if we can help out and do these things in various places and in any way, big or small, I think that's successful in the long run if people are benefiting.
And I think like from all this conversation, like it would be amazing if at some point, like in 10 years, someone is gonna finish like the university, get frustrated as we did, and like saw that there is like another path as something, and that the path we already did, and it's like taking inspiration from that. That would be, I think, that would be great success for us.
Yeah.
If we can help like something to get out of that frustration and see like that there is another way of doing architecture.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely. Oh,
And
definitely.
also stay creative and keep doing things that we like, because that's basically the whole reason why we started this. And if we could manage to keep that also would be success for us, I think.
Mhm. And I want to ask this for a student who's watching this, obviously, who is studying architecture, but actually want to make some difference in the industry, or, make the difference in thinking of people. What one good advice that you would give them, like, think like this, or, think about this.
Mm,
I think
pers-
probably
mm,
like if you're a young practitioner, like a young student, find some community based bottom up yeah
yeah,
uh,
bottom up.
bottom up community led organization in your area, and just like start from that. And I feel like there are yeah, you're gonna find them and learn from there, I guess.
Yeah, persevere.
Persevere.
I would say one piece of advice is to not listen to your surroundings, your peers always. If you have an interest and you want to do it, stick with it. Just do it, because you're only going to regret it later if you don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember saying to people that I wanted to work in humanitarian architecture, and everyone's like, "No, you don't want to do that. There's no money in that. You don't want to be going down that path. You want to be doing this. You want to be going to America and working over there. You get paid over there." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I don't care. I don't want to do that."
Yeah.
And I would say, yeah, it's hard, obviously, to not do that, but say persevere, reach out to people, as Victoria said, and just keep pushing.
And Elizabeth?
Just follow your instinct. And well, I think what I would like to say is keep trying. If you end up in something that you don't like, try again. But I know I come from a privileged point of view because I had the
Yeah.
opportunity to do that. I had the opportunity to step back from my job I didn't like, and I know this isn't always the case.
Yeah.
But just don't give up on your interest, on your dreams, I think, because maybe it's not the right timing now, but maybe it will be in the future. You never know, to like make that big change in your life, but it is possible. There's hope. It can be done.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. That's good. I'm going to end on that. Very fascinating conversation. A lot of great ideas that I'm going to keep in my pocket for the rest of my life. Um, Listening to you three today, what we understood is NoDo is just not a collective. It's just it's a relationship. It's a conversation place. We are bouncing ideas of each other. That's the whole idea. And I think that's what this episode really reminds us of. Architecture is just not only drawings. It's about people, deliverables. It's about trust. It's about negotiations, cultural sensitivity, talking to everyone, engaging everyone. It's the the courage to and that's what your NoDo Collective reminds me of. It's the courage to start before you feel ready. Just go for it. And sometimes it's just a group of friends deciding to try, but that's fine. Just go for it and go for what you actually believe in. Louise, Elizabeth, Victoria, thank you for the honesty, the laughs, and it was fun actually. And thanks for showing us what we can do if we actually care about people in architecture, and also for showing what's behind the scenes of what other people do in architecture as well. And to everyone listening, maybe the next practice, you don't have to think so much. You can just start by a group chat maybe and have a coffee and then start a business. We'll see you in the next we'll see you in the next episode of Hello Architecture.